In this video, we are going to find the top 3 wineries in a country. Hello, I am Jagan from Growth Data. I am posting this video to share my knowledge in SQL with you. If this assists you in interview preparation anyways, I will be happy. Let's see the data set and we can talk about the question in detail. So we are given a table wineries which got an ID, the country, points and winery. So for every winery, we have some points. We have to find the top 3 wineries in a country based on the points. So we have seen the similar problems before, right? Using the self join, we connect the same table and then we find the count of the wineries and we can say which is in the first, second and third. Or we can use a Windows function like rank and dense rank and we can do the sequence based on the points. So what makes this problem different? There are few complexities. Let's first create the table and we can talk about it in detail. Okay, the table is created. Let's comment this out. Okay, so what is the complexity here? First thing is, let's see what is the expected output. So this is what the output they are expecting. So it's at a country level. If you see for Australia, we got 3 records here. So Harmony Hill got 100, Grapes Galore got 85, Whispering Pine got 84. So the top winery is Harmony, which got 100. So whichever is the top goes to the top winery column. Whichever is the second, the Grape Galore goes to the second winery, and then the third one goes to the third. With fourth and fifth, we just ignore it. Okay. The second point is, if there is no wineries for second and third, first one by default we get 1 record. If there is no first, then there is no point, right? So for Hungary, we got 1 record, and that's going to be the top winery. If there is no second and third, we just replace that with no second winery and no third winery. Okay, fine. The third point is, if you see the winery name, it's not only the name of the winery, it's also the points to it. So the winery name and then within parentheses, we just put the points. The fourth one is, not all the records are unique at country and the winery level. If you see the Royal Wines of USA, it got 2 records, right? So for every country, there might be more than 1 record for a winery. So you make sure you aggregate both the records and consider that as the final point for that winery. Okay. Then if same winery, like same points for different wineries, for example, Golden Grapes and Wine Wharf got the same points, then what should you do? You sort based on the name. So once you sort based on the points, if they have same points, then you sort based on the name. So out of G and W, G comes first and then goes the W. Okay, so these are the things we have to consider. Let's put down the points here. So the first one is the output at the country level. The winery name plus points has to be there. In the source, we have more than 1 record for a winery, and you have to sort by the points and then by the name, and you fill the missing column with no secondary winery, no third winery kind of thing. Okay, fine. In this exercise, we are going to start with the Windows function and then we go for the normal self join. Okay, I tell you the reason why. Okay, so Windows function is going to be the easier one. Let's see where and all we can make a mistake. Okay, instead of directly telling the SQL for it, we just go step by step and see where we can miss it. Okay, the first point we have to address is there are more than 1 record for a winery. So we can aggregate it. So we just say select from wineries. Yes, okay. So we just say, we don't need the ID, right? So country, winery, and then sum of points as points. Since we are doing aggregation, we just say group by 1. Let's run this. Okay, just make sure the table name is right. Wineries, and then WNE winery. Okay. Say group by is incomplete. Okay, you got 2 columns here, so group by 1 and 2. Okay, so here we are aggregating the country, winery, and the points. The royal wines had 1 record now. Okay, so this is the first step. Now we have to put the ranks to it. So to put the rank, how will we start? We can use this as a CTE table, and then we can use a rank function. That's the default one, right? With all data as, oops, okay, just to go up. So this as a CTE table, we can just say select country, winery, points, and then we say rank over partition by country, order by country is not required, we just put it, and then points, descending, third one is the winery name as rank from the CTE table. Since it's a Windows function, no need to put the group by. So when you do that, you get the country, winery, and then points, and based on the points we are ranking it. If you have same points here, golden grapes gets the priority, then wine wharf. So it's all good. Instead of doing a CTE and then a Windows function, there is a easier way to do this. We can directly bring in the Windows function here, so we can reduce this. So what will you do here? Instead of points, we can simply say sum of points. The same result you'll get. Since it got aggregation sum, we just say group by, and then we can ignore the Windows function. So you get the same result. So we get the harmony 1, 2, 3, and then the golden grapes and vineyard got 2 and 3. So we are fine with the first step, right? So every country got their wineries, and then we have the sequence of it. But the output we are expecting is every country got a single row. So let's move on to that. How to bring this rows to a column? We can just say with ranking winery as, we are creating this as a CTE table. We can move it a bit so we get some space here. Okay. So we are using this as a CTE table. We are going to do a trick. So based on every country from ranking wineries, right, we just say case when alias name w dot rank equal to 1, then we just give the winery name, winery, end as what is the column, top winery, right? Okay, Same way we can just say rank equal to 2, then we say second winery, and then rank equal to 3, we say third winery. Okay. So now we are trying to bring in the rows to column wise. Still you will get 3 rows for every country, like Australia you get 3, Hungary 1, but we are towards that point. So when you run this, you can see for Australia, Harmony will become the only column here, and then the secondary and the third will be split between the 3 columns. And Hungary we got 1, other things are null. And India, Sunset Wines, other things are null. For Spain we got these many, like 1, 2 and 3, other things are completely null, we can just ignore it. And USA we got 1, 2 and 3. Fine. Now a small space for a mistake. We have the next point saying that if it's a missing column, then you put no secondary winery, no third winery. We have nulls here. So how to replace it? So we just say if the rank is 1, then winery end. That's the first one. Second one, we have winery, right? If there is no value, we can simply say else no second winery, right? This is what expected. End. Okay. And third one, if there is no value in the third one, then no third one, no third winery, right? So this is how we learned before, right? So let's see where is going to be a problem. See, the second winery, all the nulls become no second winery, and then the third winery. So what is the basic rule we do to convert these 3 rows into a single row? We simply make it as find the max out of it, right? So max of this will bring the value, the other nulls will be gone, right? So that's what we did in our previous video. We are doing the same thing. Since you are doing max as aggregation, we say group by 1. When you run this, awesome. So now we get 1 record per country. But the funny part is for Australia, the second winery is there is no winery. The third one, it says whispering wine. So what's the problem with the second winery? We have data, right? We have G something, grapes galore, right? That's the second winery. But for third winery, whispering pines is there, right? We can see the whispering pines. So the problem with the second one is we get max out of no second winery and grape galore. When you take max out of it, N gets the priority, right? After G comes the N. So when you say max, we get this record. So this works fine for here because W comes after N. So when you get max, whispering pines works. But for this one, we expect grapes, but it brings in the no second winery. So what is the problem here? The max part of it between the winery name and the replacement of null. So what should we do? So we just take the max here, okay. So we finish it here and then we do the filling later, okay. When you do the max here, what happens? You can see Australia, you get the 3 wineries properly, right? And still we have the Hungary and India, we have the null values. Now what we do after getting the max, we just say coalesce function, right? If it's a null value, for first we don't need because we have a default value anyways. So now what we do, if this value is null, then you say it's a second winery, right? And then you close it. And for the third one, if it's null, then you bring in the third winery. Okay, so what we did, we first took the max of the value to bring in 3 rows into that one row, right? And then we check if there is a null. If there is a null, then you replace with the default value they asked for. Okay, so when you run it, you get the expected result. So Australia, we got the 3 values. For Hungary, we got the 1 record. The other one is no secondary inventory and part. But there is one more catch. So the expect output is the name and the points. So how will you do it? It's a simple correction here, right? So we just get the winery. So we just add whatever is required here. So it's not going to be a problem, right? So since you see lot of comments like concatenate and all that, we can just do that. Let's see how to do it. So we have winery, and then we just add a space, the parenthesis, and then we say points, right? And then close it. Okay, right? So we get the name, parenthesis, point, and then close parenthesis. Let's run for one and see if it works. It shows an error. Then concat, right? Concat these 3 values. Okay, so now I concatenate this, so my top winery get the result, right? The winery name with the value. I just put only for this because if you put for all, it's just going to show up as a different format. So that's why I showed for one. So instead of winery, we just do the concatenation part. So the code becomes too big. So when you run it, it just shows up like a column. So we get the name for Hungary. For Australia, you can see it. Top wineries, grapes, and the whispering pines, right? So this is how the Windows function works. Okay, I can just show it in a single look. Okay, so we can see the code. So what we did, first we did the aggregation for the points, and then we rank it, and based on the rank we just split that into 3 columns, and we took the max of it. So the the multiple rows becomes a single row, and then we just coalesce function to make sure if there is no wineries, then we just replace that with the hard-coded value, no secondary winery, no third winery, right? And to concatenate, we just put the winery name and then the points to get the format they asked for. So everything is addressed, and the Windows function makes the life easier. So why I brought in the self join last, let me tell you. So to go with the self join part, let's finish it here. Okay, we can take the Spain part later. Okay, I tell you why. So we truncate the table, and then we do Australia, Hungary, USA, and India. So it's all good. Yes. Okay, now you comment out. So how we did previously, first we do a aggregation part, right? We do select country, winery, sum of points as points from wineries, N-E-R-I-E-S, wineries, group by 1. So this way we get the country, winery, and we aggregate the points. 1, 2, right, to make sure the code works fine. Okay, so now we get the country, wineries, and the points. Good. Now we use that as the CTE table, total points as this, and then we do a self join. Select from total points, say A, from inner join, same table, that's why it's called a self join, on B dot country equal to A dot country, and you know the next condition, we just say A dot points less than or equal to B dot points. Now we go and do the columns we need. A dot country, A dot winery, A dot points, and then the key thing is count of, we are going to count B dot winery as rank. So when you do that self join, we just say A dot point is less than or equal to B dot points. So we have to count how many records are there if it's A dot point is less than or equal to B. That's why we count B dot winery, right? This is a traditional way of doing it. Since you are doing aggregation, we say group by 1, 2, and 3. Syntax error. Select. What is that error? Select points. Okay, we don't have the alias name here. Points A, country, group by 1, 2, and 3. What are we missing here? Total points is the right name. You have an error, check the group by 1, 2. 1, 2, and 3. So, okay, we just have a syntax error here. Okay. So here we can just order by to have a better look of it. Order by country and then 3 descending. Okay, points descending. So we can just say Australia got 100, 85, 84, 1, 2, 3, and Hungary is 1, right? So what we do, we can just use the same query as before, as we don't want the order by, and then we use the same query we used for the Windows function, and when you run it, we get the same. For Australia, we got harmony, grapes, scallop, and whispering pine. with the values. So it looks so simple. So what is the tricky part? Why we are talking about this at the end? The complex part is the Spain. Okay. So what we are going to do is we are going to truncate this and we are going to insert only the Spain part, and then we see the pain part of it. Insert into values, there is a comma here. Okay, so we insert the data and the query already ran. So whatever the query we ran here, right? If you see the second winery, it shows null value, means the no secondary winery. So let's break down this code and see what's happening here. So when you run this, when you use this logic, if you see one, okay, order by might help. Order by, since only Spain, we can just say 3 descending. Okay, it works good for the first one, but if there is different wineries with the same point, that's where the problem comes, right? So when we try to get the rank here, it's going to consider these 2 records and then the rank shows us 3, 1 and 3. So there is no 2. There is a small fix we have to do in this script to bring it 1, 2 and 3, which we talked about that in our initial videos. So the homework here is you rewrite this SQL, you make sure the rank is in order 1, 2 and 3, and then you can use this function. So you go through the previous video, you find what you are missing here, and then you fix it and let me know how you fixed it. Okay, this is a homework for you. Hope you like this video and thanks for watching.